So guys, I am kind of blown away because the Apple leaking world right now is absolutely on fire with their reports, because we're getting all kinds of information about upcoming Apple Silicon Macs from all kinds of sources. So of course, yesterday I covered the MacBook Pro redesigns are happening very soon. I am officially stoked for them. They feel very much like the perfect MacBook for me. And by the way, check out the video in the icon above if you've missed it. But anyways, today's focus shifts to the iMac redesign that I'm assuming a lot of you guys are also very hyped for. So up until now, we've kind of known that Apple is obviously working on some sort of redesign since the last proper iMac redesign was 8 years ago. So we are very much due for one. And of course, today we have information about specific minute details as to what exactly Apple's doing with the design, along with the chips that will power this monster of a machine. So yes guys, pretty exciting stuff. Let's just get into this. So make sure to like and subscribe, click that notification for the latest Apple news and rumors. And with that being said, let's just tuck in. Today's report comes from Mark Gurman. He is incredibly accurate. He has been leaking for nearly a decade. So yes, this information is very accurate. So delving into the report, we can see the next version of the iMac should be getting rid of the chin, it should be getting rid of the curved design, and instead it's going to adopt a flat edge design with no chin, much like the Pro Display XDR. Now yes, I know that some die-hard iMac fans probably wanted the chin on the front and probably wanted the Apple logo to stay there too, but I feel like we have to bring the iMac into the modern age, and a chin just won't do on a machine that will start at $1,000. So yes, I am very happy Apple's getting rid of the curved body, the chin. I love they're going for a Pro Display XDR style design. This should look really sharp. Though of course it's not all good news, because I do have a worry about Apple going the Pro Display XDR route, and that is, would you need to buy a Pro Display XDR stand with your iMac? So in case you missed the meme somehow, the Pro Display XDR stand is $1,000 and it's sold separately with the Pro Display XDR. Everybody memed the heck out of it, and I'm worried that Apple could do the same with this iMac redesign. And of course, that will piss off a bunch of people, including me. I mean, I'm not going to spend $1,000 for a bloody stand. I mean, that is ridiculous. That would be insane, but I can see Timothy doing just that. And so I hope that is not the case. I am praying to Tim and all the Apple executives, please don't make that happen. That will just ruin this redesign. So yes, apart from that potential problem, I think the iMac redesign will be something quite amazing. And like I said, we haven't seen a proper redesign since 2012. So yes, this will be very welcome. This will be very refreshing, and I absolutely can't wait to see this in person. Another detail that Mark Gurman mentions in this report is that apparently the code names of the iMacs currently in the works are J456 and J457. Now yes, I know what you're wondering, why should we care about a bunch of letters and numbers? Well, the thing is, because Apple is working on two models, we can be for sure that there won't be an iMac Pro replacement in 2021. So it seems the iMac Pro might be replaced by, of course, the higher end version of the bigger iMac coming very soon. Anywho, another thing to note about these code names is quite obvious. It says 56 and 57. They are very similar, and so I think the differences between these models should be, of course, the size. So the current iMacs obviously come in 21.5 inch and 27 inch, but of course, with these redesigns, Apple could give us a bigger screen, and I think that's where they're heading to. Now, unfortunately, Mark Gurman doesn't tell us as to what these specific sizes will be, but we have had information in the past from Min-Chi Kuo claiming the entry-level version of this new iMac will be 24 inches instead of 21.5. And so roughly we can expect the 27-inch model to go to 30 or 32 inches, and so yes, that is going to be a truly humongous iMac, and I want one. I really want one. That would be spectacular. And of course, not only are the displays getting bigger, but we're seeing mini LED on these screens, and mini LED is essentially LCD with the benefits of OLED, so deeper blacks, better contrast ratios, better colors, brighter colors, the whole lot. This should be a substantial improvement over the current displays on the iMac. In fact, I think there is a possibility we could see the tech in the Pro Display XDR trickle down to the iMac range. Of course, it depends on whether Apple can bring this tech while keeping the price accessible, because of course, not everyone has $6,000 to spare on a monitor. So yes, Apple probably will downgrade some of the features to make these iMacs slightly cheaper. As for the flat back, I am very much looking forward to that. I think it's going to look insanely good. I love the flat edges on my iPhone. I love the flat edges on the iPad Pro. I love the flat edges coming to the MacBook Pro. And so everything's going to be unified. Everything's going to have a similar design language. And I really like that. Though the only con I see about this flat back and this incredibly thin design is possibly the fact we won't see Face ID on this iMac. In fact, I've read this story a bunch of times, and unfortunately there is not a single mention about Face ID coming to the iMac, and that's slightly broken my heart. That's kinda shattered my dreams, because I feel like Face ID on the iMac would be perfect, but maybe in the future, as Apple could of course minimize the true depth cameras and get them in a thin body, then it might be possible. Anyways, enough of the design, let's now talk about the chips powering this iMac, and let me tell you, it's gonna be pretty insane. So obviously Mark Gurman has told us a few tidbits about the chips in this iMac, and you can check out a video on it in the iCard above. But essentially, he reiterates a few things. First of all, there will be 16 power cores in this iMac, at least that's what Apple's testing. That's gonna be pretty mad. And imagine this, okay? The M1 with 4 power cores easily destroys any Intel Mac on sale right now. So I can't even begin to fathom how much horsepower we're getting with 16 power cores. 4 times the power. That's just going to be mental. I am so ready to see those incredible Geekbench scores. So yes, it is fair to say this is going to be some pretty revolutionary stuff, and remember, Apple of course has no limitations with the iMac, because it being a desktop means that Apple doesn't need to make the chip super efficient to of course power a battery, because it doesn't have one, and there are no space limitations as such, because of course it's a huge computer, and so Apple can pretty much put as much power as they want with no restrictions, no limits. That is why I'm so excited to see how much power Apple can put into these iMacs. And of course, as per tradition for an iMac, we're going to be getting a dedicated GPU on this machine. And from what we've been hearing, apparently Apple's going to destroy the competition when it comes to their GPUs, because apparently Apple's working on GPUs that have up to 32 graphic cores. And in case it wasn't already obvious, Mark Gurman confirms that yes, Intel will not be in these redesigned iMacs, and rightly so, because Apple Silicon is paving the way for the future of the computer, whereas Intel is stuck in the past. So yes, I am very happy Apple is going all in with Apple Silicon. Now conveniently, Mark Gurman mentions all of this about the next iMacs, and yet doesn't mention a single thing about the price and the release dates, which are by far the most important pieces of info regarding these iMacs that we know nothing about. Of course, release date is something that we can sort of predict, because of course it is coming out in 2021, we know that for sure, and in terms of exactly when, I think WWDC makes the most sense, because I feel like the iMac is a special product in Apple's lineup. It's the machine that brought Apple back from the dead in 1998, and so I feel like it would be fitting to release such a monumental upgrade to this iconic lineup at WWDC, which of course was where we had the initial Apple Silicon announcement in the first place. But then in terms of price, I'm just clueless. I have not a single clue as to what kind of direction Apple's going with in terms of pricing. So there are two sides to the pricing argument. One idea is, of course, Apple saves tons of money with Apple Silicon, and so they can afford to give us all these insane upgrades at the same prices. but then there's a part of me that wants to temper my expectations and tells me it's not realistic to see an upgrade and not get a price hike. We've seen this in the past. Apple always increases the price with a subsequent redesign, and so it makes sense if they do the same this year too. Anywho, we can worry about price later. For the time being, I am very, very much looking forward to this iMac. It should be a pretty massive upgrade in every way possible. And yes, this year is going to end up being a pretty expensive year for me because I want the new iPhones, the new MacBook Pros, the new iMacs. I'm just going to buy everything from the Apple Store. So yes, I am going to be broke. But tell me in the comments below, what are your price predictions for these upcoming iMacs? Do you think there's going to be a huge price hike? Do you think they're going to charge $1,000 for a stand? Tell me all about it in the comments below. Anywho, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click that notification for the latest Apple news and rumors. Check out a video here in the icon above about the upcoming MacBook Pros. There are some pretty interesting upgrades. And on that note, I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya, peeps.